for me. And the significant traumatic event, and it was, and it hurts, by the way. don't be doing that heart attack stuff. Don't recommend it. The mixture of that meant that when I got there, when I got into the London Centre and started on this course, I went all in. So if you had told me, for instance, that I would have been on the phone to my father, who I hadn't spoken to for 7 years, telling him that I honour him, and for everything that I see that's good in me, and that for everything that I see that's not good in me, I take complete and utter responsibility for. Wow. I seriously would have driven you down to the mental health centre myself.
Yeah, I think that's what they call a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Because I know, because obviously I did Landmark, not obviously, but I did Landmark for him in January 97, first month of that year, right?
Yeah.
So part of my ego was to say January 2096, not 97. So it's funny for me because I know what I'm like. Anyway, so and I had a similar experience, and it wasn't even like my dad. It was one of my best mates that I fell out with like 4 years prior. And on the Sunday night when I left Landmark, I went and found him, and the course hadn't finished, and I'm sitting in front of him having a very similar conversation, owning all my stuff and forgiving him, and saying that I'd take responsibility for my part, and it was like being liberated. And he said to me, because I always dreamt one day this would happen, that we would be sitting together talking. And he looked at me and I said, you know what? I never did. And if someone had said to me, prior to doing the course, by Sunday night, you'd be sitting in front of this guy, apologise, I'd be like, you can keep that course. No way.
Yeah, exactly.
But I want to add a caveat. I just want to add a caveat. Regardless of the heart attack, that's the way it happened for you, it's the way it happened, right? And we all get in there in a different way. Is the power of that work puts you at a point where the impact and the cost of living your life out of integrity, living, mess in the past, it creates the value of cleaning those aspects of your life up and creating new possibilities as a way to forward your life and that of others. It becomes so compelling that it's almost like your body takes over and says, I'm taking you to this place to get this thing sorted. Because whatever kept you from doing that prior, that's lost its grip on you. And I want to acknowledge, to go and complete with your father, the source of your life, is an incredible thing to do. And ultimately, you did it. You could have sat there and not did it. You could have gone, no, I would rather be right, make my dad wrong, blame my brother and my, whoever it is that's making my life the way it is. And I would say there's a certain amount of courage, emotion to go and make those things, have those conversations and put yourself in front of people and say, you know what, I want to acknowledge this about myself.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Absolutely. Two quick points on that. Firstly, when we sat together 6 months before in another hotel talking about stuff, and you reintroduced Landmark into the conversation, and you said in order to live a life that's powerful in the present, you have to be complete with your past. When I said to you I was complete with my past, I really believed it. I absolutely, and when you didn't accept it, I thought, what is the matter with this dude? And then I went through this process, and on the Monday after the intense weekend that you go through, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I didn't realize how much inauthenticity weighed because I felt so light, light as a feather. Just getting complete with people, telling people the truth, just opening yourself up for a weekend and speaking your truth. I didn't realize how much it weighed. Yeah. It's on you. It's on your shoulder. It's on you. It's on you all the time. And I had no idea. So when I talk about raising an awareness and people having to be quite evolved to understand certain concepts, this is a critical part of it. And that is, creating a clearing for themselves that is literally really clear.
So I've got a question for you, Glen, right? Because this is more for me than you. But here I am having this conversation all the time with everyone. And it's like I'm saying, look, the bus is going to go over the cliff, everyone. You're all asleep, wake up. And I'm talking everything from ontological to macro money system, media, and all the big stuff. The stuff, all of it. And I put myself in that position. I get that, and I'm just thinking, I wonder if you'd have registered back when we had that conversation, if you would have had a heart attack. I mean, we will never know, but I guess if that's the weight you're carrying, that weight, not just you, but us as human beings, we're carrying that weight and that burden that's undistinguished. That once distinguished, you have a choice about. And that's why I think the monetary system and the media and all that other stuff is really important, because this stuff's on us all the time, as well as our own ontological, personal perspective of our reality, is for me at the moment, as a leader, it feels like a very insane place to be.
Yeah.
On the bus and everyone's sleeping. There's only a couple of people paying attention in my world, Yeah. I want to ask you a question. Given the conversation we had that day, and I'm saying to you, you're not complete, or consider you're not, or however we said it, and you're like, what the hell is he talking about? How do you think that was like for me? What do you think it takes to continually be a stand for people when they're not even being a stand for themselves?
Well, I experience this all the time when I try to enroll people in the possibility of opening themselves up to a new way of being, and they resist. It lands with me as nothing's wrong. That they're perfect the way they are, and they're perfect the way they're not. I'd hope that it landed with you at the same time, and it obviously did, because you kept in that stand. You kept in that stand. That's the important thing. You don't give up because someone's not ready, and people aren't always ready when you're ready. The important thing is that you stay in your stand. You are your possibility. So I hope it wouldn't have landed with you as rejection, because when it happens to me, it doesn't land as rejection. What it lands as is this person isn't ready at this time, or I wasn't enrolling enough in what I was trying to convince them of. But every million-mile journey, if there is a way, I'm trying to crack the code in several different areas. I'm writing a book on sales currently, and I'm trying to help heal my family, where there's unresolved trauma from 1972.
Yep.
Yeah, in several different areas, I'm trying to crack the code of how do you get someone to see themselves, to put themselves in front of themselves and see themselves what they really are. But we create ways of protecting ourselves. That's the way we live. And it's comfortable there for many of us. And that's what it was for me. I created a way of being that was comfortable for me. It was very easy there. It's my comfort zone. There's no growth there, but I don't know that at the time, because if you look at my life, I created a certain level of workability. Lovely house, beautiful family, etc.
What you hadn't created, though, was the comfort, the true comfort, because if you were truly comfortable, the burden wouldn't have been there, and the heart attack probably wouldn't have happened, because it was ongoing pressure that you were putting yourself under that had become invisible. And this invisible thing, because you're used to it, it's like when you first go into the ocean and it's cold, and you kind of come out again, and then you go in again and it's not that cold, and you kind of stay there. And somebody will come in and go, oh, this water's freezing. And it's like they've just touched it and it's cold and I don't like it, so I'm coming out again. But when you continually dip your feet into this space that is putting you under pressure, actually the water is still cold. And actually, if you stay there for too long, you get hypothermia and you'll die. It's like you're being damaged continually without you even realizing it. And I think you're right about being a stand for people, where you can only lead them so far down that path. You can only hold their hand and say, come on, come out of the water now, it's too cold, when they're ready to be led. And if you build up and develop trust amongst someone, somebody will follow you just because you said follow me, because you've got that trust and that respect, and they will follow you. So it is about being there for them, which is, to my mind, what BeCollaboration is: the consistency of the meetings, the regularity, the culture that we create is doing that for them with people that possibly have nobody else to be there for them. It's the only place, how many times have you heard them say it, where I can be me? It's my me time. It's the stuff where people don't think I'm a bit mad. It's the place where I can go where people don't think I'm weird, because everyone's allowed to be there for them, whether they've been to Landmark or not.
No, and this is not about landmark. This is about the journey, and this is the journey of possibility. So there's many things that play a part in that. But I just want to rewind a bit, Glenn, because we're having a conversation about. I mean, I think the power is that there's power in the community, and the more we invest in community, people are at different level. They're different parts of that journey. And the reason I was asking the question, it was a loaded question, to be fair, right? But the reason I was asking the question is one of the things Jill and I are constantly talking about, elated about, depressed about. It's that. Is the energy and the attention and the focus of building a community. And people come, people go, people don't come. People are there. They've been part of the journey from day one. And for me, it's finding, it's seeing in others what they don't see about themselves, and being a stand for them to see it, even though they're telling you they've got it all sorted, or they already know better, or they don't get it, right? And and I think power of community. I think there's been so much to divide us and conquer us and split up, whether it's colour, culture, race, football teams. You drive a BMW, I drive an Audi. All these ways. I used to put Arsenal top. So much division, and inside the fear scarcity paradigm, fear scarcity competition paradigm, there is always a concern for survival. Survival. It's in the identity, but it's also created by the macro, and creating a context and a culture for love, connection, and abundance is something that we're clear what we're doing. But it's not always landing because people are not there where they are. Like you said, at some level, for people to come into BeCollaboration, they already are thinking in ways that maybe only a few people are thinking in those ways, or people that are willing to take the steps to be a part and be active in that. And I think whether it's whatever the collaborations turn out to be, whether it's creating commercial offerings, raising money for good causes, doing life experience stuff, hobby related, doesn't matter. We're propagating and forwarding the value and benefit of the endeavour of collaboration, human endeavour within collaboration. Yeah. Because we're heavily left brain conditioned, and we're being conditioned by a fear scarcity, competition, culture, and society. And when I said earlier on we were clearing and getting ready, I was saying, what I'm really excited about is the fruits of collaboration. We've spent so long in bedding down how we're defining collaboration, identifying it, and talk about the fear scarcity competition as opposed to, and creating this love, connection, abundance. What would we create? And it was all at the beginning. What about if we put a load of great people in a room? What would happen? And that's still even if it's just 2 or 3 people coming together and doing something they would never have achieved if they hadn't got together. I think that is, really exciting.
So can I
spot on.
Can I ask a question? Having experienced what you have over the last couple of years, the heart attack, the change in the relations with your family, the landmark experience, the BeCollaboration experience, tell us a bit about your business and how that has impacted on possibly who you do business with, or how you create your workshops or your seminars, or whatever it is that you're how has that impacted on your day-to-day money making proposition?
Sure. So, and in doing so, I'll answer both of the points that you both addressed in the last couple of minutes. So here's the thing. I'm a consultant sales director. I go into organizations, and typically for 1 day a week, I direct and lead their sales teams. I'm also a sales trainer. So I have 2 sales training courses, and I train those across Europe mostly, and sometimes beyond. And I coach salespeople, sales directors, and new business owners. Now, before I joined BeCollaboration, I went through the processes, experiences, and journey that you've just mentioned. My earnings were relatively limited. I go in and out of great contracts. I do a good job. I feel like I provided value, and I was kind of happy with myself. Now something different is happening. Something extremely different is happening. For me, collaboration works on a level of understanding. Once you can only collaborate. So what as I mentioned in my Quest article in the summer, the connectedness of collaboration. The word collaboration